Thank you for listening to the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. Some said we would go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here. It's all about the OTAs coming up on this edition of the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Seany J and I cover the first round of the OTAs for the Detroit Lions. Then we take a look at the Calvin Johnson saga finally coming to an end. All this and more coming up right now on the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Watch out. Here comes that roar. What up, though? This is Curt Steele, and welcome to the Die Hard Den podcast. And as always, I'm with my man, Seany J.
What's up, Lion fans? How you doing out there?
Man, Seany J, it's good to see you, my brother. Good to hear from you. Now, you know what we do at this time. It is time to tell me something good. So, Seany J, my brother, tell me something good.
Well, the Lions had a OTA or mini camp. We say old mini camp this week. And our Lions players said they were going to show up for whatever reason. They think it was safe. But let me tell you, people, about 82 of the 90 players signed showed up for this mini camp.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's amazing because we were the team that signed that memo saying that, they weren't going to show up. We only had a few players that weren't there. We had 8 players that weren't participating in the mini camp or OTAs, organized team activities, which was Jamie Collins, Tyrell Crosby, Michael Brockers, Tom Kennedy, John Penei, John Atkins, Rakeem Boyd, which I think he may be hurt because I think he was working on the sidelines the other day. So I think he was just there, but he wasn't working. And
he didn't participate in the rookie mini camp either.
Yeah, I think something may be wrong with him. And Charlie Tamupawu were the only guys missing. This is per Kyle Meinke of Michigan Live Sports. So the Lions had the bulk of their players there for OTAs. I mean, that's a good thing when they have that in the building. So, and you look at that, especially with the Lions, the way that they were starting out OTAs with that many people in attendance, I really like that.
So do I.
Yeah. Then
real quick,
go ahead.
It's got to be a good sign to players. They're buying into Campbell. They like the coaches. They like to see the things done. They like the coaching staff. They like the front office. And the Lions, Campbell, I know he's not interested in no rebuild. Everybody keeps saying he wants to win now.
Yeah, definitely. He wants to definitely win right now. So let's move on. The next thing is you have Lions rookie running back Jermar Jefferson. He's already started doing community work in the city of Detroit. On Wednesday, he announced his Munchie merch initiative. This is a drive in which he sells clothing with his nickname Munchie on it, and the proceeds go to support the Pure Heart Foundation. The Pure Heart Foundation supports children of incarcerated parents. It goes to help make sure they stay on the straight and narrow, keep out of trouble, and break the generational cycle of incarceration. The young fella stepping up and already doing some community work in the city of Detroit.
I'm happy. He's confident he's going to make the team. He's already doing charity work. I hope he does. About Kim and the Last Chance U guy, I want those two to make it. But the interesting free agent was intended. We'll talk about him in a minute.
Yeah, definitely. All right. That was Tell Me Something Good this week. Now it's time to go on the ball. And let's look at Penei Sewell. Dan Campbell said, they asked how Penei Sewell was in OTAs because he missed the rookie minicamp because of the COVID-19 test. But he said he looks like a rookie. He said, but he looks small standing next to Taylor Decker. And that's pretty amazing because Penei Sewell is a pretty big dude. But one interesting thing is that he got his jersey number 58 from Jamie Collins, who switched to number 8, which is the number that Jamie Collins wore in college. Now, Penei Sewell said the reason that he wears number 58 was in honor of his dad. That's the number that his dad wore in high school. So what are your initial thoughts of what Dan Campbell had to say about Penei Sewell?
Well, first of all, we know the young man Penei Sewell has pressure on. Not only was a seventh overall pick, already people saying, "Oh, he's a generational talent, one of the best players in the draft, the best lineman, one of the best players. He's a Hall of Famer or first day starter." That's pressure on the guy.
Yeah,
no way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No. So, and just he does look kind of slim for a guy who's listed as 6'6" and 331 pounds. He outweighs Decker by a good 13 pounds, but they say he looks smaller. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. I look at pictures at him. He looks like a slim guy. Weighs about 250 almost. But
maybe it's just because he's in shape. That's maybe what it is as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, he may just be a little more compact because he's ripped and not he's just not bulk. You know what I'm saying?
No fat on lean. That's lean, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Good thing. I like that. Plus, that's why he set out the 2020 college football season.
Yeah.
Avoid COVID, which you call anyway, but I'm glad it's okay. And to get ready for the NFL. And hopefully the season working out for these past 6, 7, 8 months. Well,
here's the interesting thing. I heard in his presser today, he said the reason really why he sat out wasn't because of COVID. He sat out because originally the Pac-12 had canceled their season. So that's why he opted out, because he didn't know that Oregon was going to have a season or not. So that's because they asked him that question today, and they said, "Wasn't it funny that you opted out because of COVID?" He said, "No, that's why I opted out. I opted out because they didn't know if they were going to have a season or not." He said, they were trying to say it was because of COVID. Yeah, but he said, but it's all good. He's there in camp now. He's working. He's shadowing some of the veteran players. So kudos to him. All right, let's switch gears. Next up, we have the new QB1 in Detroit. Jared Goff was working out with the entire wide receiver core on some things they did in the offseason. Now, the coaching staff let him kind of work on some of the things. They sent him some of the drills that they were going to work on in OTAs and in camp. So Jared Goff continued that work with the entire wide receiver core. He worked with a select group of guys out there in California between, before actually reporting to OTA. So he comes in, throws it, and one thing that Dan Campbell said, he said he throws a pretty ball. It may not be as fast and hard as Matthew Stafford, but he says he throws a pretty nice pass. So what do you think about him working with the entire wide receiver core? I know you had a couple guys that you were interested in talking about.
Yes, first of all, people are putting Jared Goff down. People want to draft a quarterback. They still talking about taking a quarterback in the future years. But Jared Goff, let's not forget, he's a very talented guy. He was a number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft himself. He already played in the Super Bowl, a 2-time Pro Bowler. Mm-hmm. And, things took a left turn for him in L.A. because he didn't get along with the coach because I guess he was being a young man flirting with the coach's girlfriend. Who's cute?
Nah, that wasn't it, man. That wasn't it. Nobody started that mess on here.
But that's the rumor. And Stafford, I love Stafford. I wish he was still the quarterback. But the people, Lion fans, you wanted to change. You wanted Stafford out. He's gone.
Yep.
Jared Goff is young. He's still, 26, 27.
Yep.
Very talented. Like I say, he already played in the Super Bowl, already appeared in a couple Pro Bowls. He has talent.
Yeah, he does.
He's more than just a fill-in or a stopgap for the next rookie quarterback who you're going to boo anyway, run him out of town if he doesn't, put up the outstanding numbers. The first 60 throws, you're going to boo that young quarterback out of town anyway, like you have every quarterback the last 50, 60 years, where I regress. Mm-hmm. But I like this Goff. He worked out with the receivers on his own. He invited some guys like Terrell Williams and Perriman to his home. He has a football field near his home, in his backyard, whatever. They worked on some routes. They worked on some passes, which is a good thing. And he's taking ownership. He showed leadership. And I don't know, like I said, Stafford did too. But Jared Goff, like I said, he doesn't see himself as a stopgap or temporary fill-in or temporary worker employer. He's here for the long haul. So I like that. Goff.
Yeah. And what was some of the wide receivers you would want to talk about with Jared Goff?
Oh, yes. Like I said, we know about the veterans, Terrell Williams, Perriman, and Ratley. Now, the Lions signed some interesting, talented, undrafted free agents. Like first, it was Jonathan Adams out of Arkansas State.
Yep.
They say he has a great chance to make the team. They also have Sage Surratt from Wake Forest.
Yeah, down the road from me.
So some people think has a good chance to make the team. And also, they drafted, of course, amon-ra St. Brown, like USC, who felt he should have been the number one draft pick, but fell into the fourth round for whatever reason.
Yeah,
I think he could be our Jamar Chase or Waddle. Yeah, and don't forget, we also have Quintez Cephas, who played pretty well as a rookie. So we got some interesting prospects at the receiving position. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be the worst receivers in the NFL this year. I really don't.
Yeah, and Dan Campbell has some interesting comments about amon-ra St. Brown. He said that he's has a different type of mindset than most of the rookies. He's very polished and very professional about how he goes about his business. He said it's a very, I won't say the unique, but he said it's not like the rest of the rookie, the way he goes about handling his business. And it comes from his upbringing. He kind of played receiver all his life. He grew up playing receiver. His dad, Mr. Olympia, we talked about that, that group before, and he's the youngest of them when he's supposed to be the best one. So I'm
the LaMelo Ball of the St. Browns.
Yeah, so the St. Browns, you know what I'm saying? But I'm excited to see amon-ra St. Brown out there on the field. All right, next up, we had the Lions hosted free agent running back Todd Gurley on Thursday. Wow, that is a big deal. DeAndre Swift spoke on this when he talked in his press conference. He said, man, that'll be something having Todd Gurley and him and Jamal Williams in the backfield together. And if that was the case, Todd Gurley will be reuniting only with a running back teammate from the University of Georgia, but he'll also be reuniting with one Jared Goff, who we played with at the LA Rams.
Yes, I posted that on our page as well as our Trey Truist fans page. Now the fans, so it was split down the middle. Some said we don't need Gurley. Said Gurley's washed up. What's he going to do? And but once again, I point to this bringing them in today. How are they going to sign them? Bringing them in tells me the Lions, like I said, are not interested in the rebuild. They're trying to win with some young, talented players.
Right.
If they were truly interested in the rebuild, they would have drafted the Ohio State bus or somebody like that at quarterback and gone with a veteran. They would have traded for Goff. They would have got a drafted a quarterback. They would have took
Justin
a young
Fields.
Quarterback.
I don't think I don't trust Ohio State quarterbacks.
Me neither. Like I said, there's the Ohio State Buckeye quarterback curse. It's for real. It's not me talking or hating. It's a real thing. Yes. Yeah. But anyway, so the Lions are not. They don't care what the media is saying. They don't care what the experts are saying. They are not interested in the rebuild. They are trying to win with good young players and a mixture of young players and veterans. Yeah,
closing out on the ball. The last one we're going to talk about, the veteran tight end TJ Hockenson said he has definitely worked on his route running and just really studied some of the wide receivers of the game. And one of the wide receivers he studied included Hall of Famer from Detroit, Calvin Johnson. He looked at how Calvin Johnson caught the ball, where his points of catch, how he went up a high point of the ball. And that's something he wants to add to his repertoire for the upcoming season. So TJ Hockenson, Ben Johnson, the tight end coach, said that he still has a very high ceiling. He hasn't touched his potential at all.
Yes, let me say, but I remember a few weeks ago in our group, I posted, I'm standing by this. Just so, people think our receivers is a question mark, and maybe they are. I said this is not going to be as bad as you think. I said TJ is going to have an all-pro season with 100 catches for over 1,000 yards and 10 TDs.
Right.
I'm sticking by that. It's very feasible. It's not out of the question. It's realistic to expect that. So I'm sticking by that 1,010 season for TJ to further notice.
Okay, there we go. That was On the Ball this week. It's covering our offense. Now it's time to defend the den. Looking to the defensive side. First up, the defensive staff, including one Coach Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator, were gushing over Jelani Tavaes. He lost some 17 pounds to get down this offseason. He came in at the weight they wanted him to come in at for OTAs, coming in around 240 pounds. He was almost 270 pounds last season, but they said he's improved his lateral movement sideline to sideline. What do you think about Jelani Tavaes cutting that weight this offseason?
I told you on the previous podcast that Tavaes got talent. He needs to lose some weight to get the foot speed the Lions won their linebackers. He heard me, listen to me. He was almost 270 pounds last year. I'm like, those stuff get that heavy. He's basically a defensive lineman playing linebacker. And that's why he looks slow and couldn't make the play. People thought he should have been making missing tackles. Yeah. And always a step behind. But already losing that, 30 pounds? If he's down 240, that's about 30 pounds by my math. And he's very quicker. And, he still got good size, but he has speed. And like I said, if the Lions let him go, it'll be like another Kyle Van Noy situation. He went to New England and balled out and won a couple Super Bowls, perhaps.
Yeah, I like the fact that they made a concerted effort to make sure he lost that weight this offseason. We'll see how that works out. I mean, see if he makes the team. I mean, 270 pounds for a middle linebacker is ridiculously heavy. That's like a defensive end playing middle linebacker. You don't want to do that. All right. Next up, we have some sad news. Defensive tackle Joe Heath suffered torn ACL. He was doing a bag drill the other day. He's out for the season. This was a guy who was signed to a futures deal earlier this offseason. He was one of those guys who was trying to make the roster. He was a depth signing, but, shout outs out to him. I'd hate to see anybody get injured, especially during the offseason.
I agree. I mean, he was a long shot to make the team, but still, you don't want to see anybody get hurt, know. And even if it was Michigan State, I still don't want to see any Sparty or any Buckeye even get hurt. I mean, I just want to beat them on the field fair and square. Yeah, I don't wish nobody harm or ill will, but I just want to kick their butts on the field fair and square. So I feel for Joe Heath. He was a long shot to make the team. I doubt if he made the team. But still, maybe still busting this guy. He's on injury reserve and get paid and rehab at the same time. So
yeah, definitely.
We'll see.
All right. Last up for the defender, Dan, we have our Lions DB room. Now here's the picture of the Lions defensive backcourt, looking pretty deep. I know that Aaron Glenn has some kind words saying Tracy Walker was eating up the playbook and studying film. And he said it's going to be some good competition, some good young players in there. Melifonwu, you have Amari Warrior in there, and definitely the young fella, Jeff Okudah. He said that those guys are just learning so much about being a defensive back that they didn't learn coming into the league, just being young players. And they're doing stuff where, they're learning about playing within the scheme and not just trying to go out and cover routes.
Right, I was thinking about that too. Jeff Okudah was the third overall pick last year. We need him to play like that. I said, well, to be a third overall pick, he got to be another Deion Sanders type guy. That's kind of defensive back you expect. He had an injury, he needed surgery. Patricia didn't want to have the surgery. He has to play through it, and it showed. He was one of those guys that once again, like that, who was slow. Step behind, missing plays, missing tackles. He wasn't himself. Let's hope he's himself. He's the guy we took from Ohio State, third overall, and play like it. And also I like this guy, the rookie this year from Syracuse. What's his name?
Iffy Afonso Melifonwu.
Yes, like I said, Lions lead the league in hard to pronounce names. But anyway, he's 6'3". Over 200 pounds, he got great speed. Now, it's amazing he lasted to the third round. Yeah. He could be a steal. I mean, he might start over Aurier.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing was big when they were talking about who's going to start on the outside. You have a lot of competition. And don't forget, we have like Quentin Dunbar signed with us and a couple other veterans, Dean Barlow out there at safety. And you just have a lot of competition back there in that back end of that secondary. All right. That was Defender Den this week. Thank you for tuning in to the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. If you're watching on YouTube, please like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. If you're watching on Facebook, please do the same. Like it, share it. Go ahead and join our Facebook page. Shawnee J does an amazing job of keeping you updated on all the Lions news over there on our Facebook page. So go ahead and click the notification bell if you're watching on YouTube as well, so you know when you're getting fresh content from us right here on Detroit Lions for a Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl, presented by on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. All right, when we get back from the break, you know what time it is. It's time for 2 Points Conversing. All right, we're back from the break. Shawnee J, man, it's time to get into this 2 Points Conversing. And the first up, we have TJ Hockenson said that there's a different vibe at Allen Park this offseason just because of the fact that it's a different regime. What do you think about it being a different vibe and atmosphere in Allen Park with the new coaching staff?
I totally 100% agree with TJ. I said that at the beginning of the year after they made the hire of Dan Campbell and the assistant coaches. He started bringing in all-star coaching staff and the all-star front office. I said that. The Lions were making news all off season, even before the Super Bowl, when they made the trade, announced the trade, Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff. And the draft, they get a lot of big, sexy names, but they've got some good, quality young players like Sewell and the two defensive linemen, the defensive back from Syracuse, and also Derek Burns and Myron St. Brown. That's a nice haul right there. Yeah,
but I think go ahead.
Yeah, but the vibe also, like I said, they're not interested in the rebuild. They want to win with a good mixture of young players and veterans. So, like I said, that's why I feel good about those guys doing, but from the front office to the coaching staff to the players they brought in, it is a different vibe.
Yeah, and I think it has to do with what they do on the field as well. They're getting the best out of the players without like dragging them around into the ground, running them down, treating them like men. But they, and it's having it where they're doing these drills, and not only are they working, but they're competing, having fun, and they're doing it in a way that is not hurting players. You don't see where except for the young fella of the unfortunate Heath, but they're doing it in a smart way. They're working with these players in a smart way and getting them to compete and bringing the best out of them, and they're doing it in a way that these guys are having fun.
Did you like how Fatty Matty ran his training camps and OTAs the past?
Yeah, it was just a dictatorship. He was Napoleon out there with his hand in his breast pocket, running the camp from his four-wheeler. All right, next up, we have Per Day Burkett of the Detroit Free Press. The Lions will repay Calvin Johnson $1 million of his money that they recruit from him when he retired. Wow, bringing him back into the fold. They're just kind of working out how they're going to do that, how they're going to pay Calvin Johnson. What do you think about the Lions going about that, saying, hey, we're going to find a way to schedule the payments and repay Calvin Johnson to bring him back into the fold in Detroit?
Well, I love it. I posted about this in both our page and the group. I love it. I mean, he never should have done this and that's all about Quinn's stupid move. We got to pay Barry back his money too while we're at it, with interest.
I think they already took care of Barry. I think they took care of Barry a couple of years ago.
Yes,
he came back.
Now, when I post this in the group, a lot of our followers, at least half of them didn't like it. They said, well, Calvin quit. A contract's a contract. They shouldn't give him nothing back. I disagree. They never should take the money in the first place. This is goodwill. You know, you're damn the Lions are damn they do, damn they don't. You know, when this first happened, Lions fans, they're getting dogged. Oh, Lions, they're doing cover wrong with the best players. Same thing with Barry. Now they try to do the right thing, make amends. Oh, well, he quit. They shouldn't give him nothing back. He deserved it. He voided his contract on stuff. I love it. And it's really easy, Sheila, how to pay him back. Just have a briefcase with $1 billion and like some of those gangster moves and pay him. Simple stats.
Yeah,
I got the money.
Yeah, I like him just because of the fact that he earned way more than for the Lions in that $1 million. He was the face of Detroit, and people were tuning in to watch the Lions just because of Calvin Johnson. The Lions weren't winning a lot of games when he was in Detroit. Think about it. You know, most of his, you know, he only had a couple of winning seasons his whole career. His whole Hall of Fame career, he had what, 2 to 3 winning seasons? Come on, 90% of his career was on losing teams, and the guy still made the Hall of Fame. So a first ballot, you know, at that. So, you know,
people question, is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? I say, of course he is. People didn't think he'd, like even Lynn Swann, the great Lynn Swann, you know, was Pittsburgh Steel legend. He didn't think Calvin was the first ballot Hall of Fame because he said, according to Swann, excuse me, he didn't do enough to help the Lions win. Well, it's not about that. It's about your individual statistics and play.
Yeah. You know, his career, he changed the way that the wide receiver position was played. He paved the way for guys like Julio Jones and A.J. Green and those guys, the bigger, faster receivers. So without, you know, he was one of those guys who was a game changer. I mean, the guy drew double coverage like punt coverage at the goal line. When you change the way defenses play you, you know, and plus he has the all-time single season, you know, catch record. So, I mean, the guy was a phenomenal athlete and a phenomenal wide receiver. All right. So, next up, we have the NFL has announced the COVID protocol for players. Now, this is the new updated one. Now, the new protocols were which were forged in an agreement with the NFL Players Association and the league, said fully vaccinated players will no longer have to be tested daily. They will not have to wear face masks at team facilities. They will not be subject to quarantine after exposure to a COVID positive individual. They will not have any travel restrictions, and they may eat in the cafeteria and use the sauna or steam room. They're also not subject to the capacity limits in the weight room and will be allowed to interact with vaccinated family and friends during travel. Now, for the unvaccinated players, the guys who chose to not get their shot, maybe like Taylor Decker, unvaccinated players will still have to be tested daily. They must wear a mask at team facilities and are subject to physical distancing, social distancing, and will have to quarantine after exposure. They will have travel restrictions and will not be able to interact with their friends and families during travel and cannot eat in the cafeteria or use the sauna or steam room at the team facilities. They will be subject to capacity limits and social distancing in the weight room as well. So the NFL putting their foot down. You look like they kind of like saying, hey, you know, if you want to live a normal life here in the league, go ahead and get your shots, brother.
Well, they kind of forcing you, you know, making it nice so difficult. They make you almost pressure you to get a shot. Well, I think this should be a person's choice because subject real quick. You know, you know, the great Marvin Hagler, the former middleweight champion, died earlier this year. And according to his one-time rival and turned friend in retirement, Tommy Hearns, he claims that Hagler died after getting the COVID shot. And his wife disputes that, but
I will say this: definitely, there has been some issue. I'm vaccinated myself. I won't force anybody, saying that, but I won't put myself in the harm's way of anybody who's not vaccinated. But what I will do, except for my friends and family, people in my house that haven't had the chance to get the shot yet. But I will say this: a lot of people, especially when they got the shot, they didn't adhere to what the CDC protocols were after getting the shot. Like, you're supposed to still quarantine and not quarantine. You're supposed to do the social distancing and please keep yourself safe after at least 14 days after getting the shot to make sure it is working for you. And then some people with drug interactions will definitely negate the shot. I've seen that happen before as well. So it's not just the vaccine, it's not 100% effective, but, there are some mitigating circumstances that can prevent the shot from working for individuals. All right, so the next up we have the NFL salary cap will not exceed $208 million in 2022. That's down. The league has said that with the CBA, it won't exceed that. I know a lot of people a little bit saying that the NFL is being greedy. The salary, they're not, getting the teams for the salary cap, but sometimes I think they have some bills to pay, but that's what, the deal is right now. And I know you want to talk about this. The ESPN writer Bill Barnwell predicts the Detroit Lions will sign guard Trey Turner. Now, he has connections to our offensive coordinator, Anthony Lynn. He played for him out there in L.A. last season. What do you think about the Lions signing Trey Turner?
Now, I think this is a necessary move. Like I said, I like the Lions when they're doing the offensive line. Mm-hmm. But we have Big V in place for this $50 million contract. So we're going to sign this guy. Where's he going to play? I mean, is he going to be a backup? We're going to make Big V the backup? I think this is a necessary sign. Plus, you got some young guys going to develop, too. Like, Logan Sinberg, for one. And a couple other guys got some interesting free agent prospects like Drake Johnson, the center, and even what's his name, Hine, the guard from Minnesota State. Yeah, we got some interesting prospects. And,
now
I don't.
The one thing about Turner is a proven Pro Bowler caliber player, and I think the big thing is that Big V signing this administration wasn't part of that, so that wasn't their guy. So they may be looking to get rid of that contract. I know if they trade him after the 1st of June, they're going to save about $9 million in cap space. And Trey Turner's only looking for $2 to $3 million on his contract. So it may be one of those moves. I mean, I know Big V, he wanted to be in there and compete. The guy has a third highest rated contract on the team. He's below like Taylor Decker and Jared Goff. My thing is, you're paying a guy right tackle money to play right guard. That's just, I don't know about that one. So, we'll see what's going to happen with Big V. I'm with you. Give him a shot to make the team and, make his presence felt. But it's just one of those things that, maybe it's one of those things where it may happen, but it's not written in stone. It's just a prediction by a writer. So it's just the media.
Yeah, talk, make seriously, stir the pot, make things interesting, give the fans something to talk about.
Yeah, that's pretty much all that was. All right, I know you want to talk about this. The NFL and a lot of college football will have, around the country, will have 100% capacity in their stadiums for the upcoming season.
I definitely think that's way too soon for 100% capacity. We're just barely a year removed from the beginning of this worldwide global pandemic known as coronavirus. And yes, I love my football, I love sports. I'm glad that we were able to play last year through this virus. I'm glad that, I want to see the games. I want to see the fans come back. But going back, 100% is too soon. We need to go back slowly, like maybe have 25 to 50% capacity. But still social distancing and wearing your mask, even at the games, Let's not rush back to this thing, or else we're going to have another huge outbreak, and, we don't want that. Right. So I definitely think they're moving too fast. I mean, 100%. They should lower the number. So maybe, like I said, I'll go for 50% capacity, as long as social distance spread them out a little bit. But 100%, like you want 110,000 fans at your big house, If you've ever been to a game at Michigan Stadium, I've been to several games in Michigan Stadium. You sit on the bench, not much room. You're tight. You got somebody's knees in your back who's sitting behind you, and your knees are in the back of the person in front of you, and you got no elbow room. And you telling me that you want that and they don't have to wear a mask or anything? That's a bad idea.
Right. I understand. Especially for the indoor stadiums. That's my real thing with the, being an incubator for the coronavirus, like Ford Field, indoor stadiums. I'm definitely not down with that. I know open air stadiums, they just got to do it safely. I wish they would make sure that, I think some stadiums were talking about having vaccinated sections and non-vaccinated sections. So, people who are vaccinated, they can, sit in their sections and don't have to wear a mask. And people who are not have their vaccination shots, they will have to wear the mask in the stadium. So, we'll see how it works out. But I'm with you, my man. I think it's a little bit too soon. All right, people. Thank you for tuning in to the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. And we appreciate you tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you know when you get fresh content from us right here from the Die Hard Den podcast. If you're watching on Facebook, click the like button, click the share button, and join our Facebook page. Shawnee J does a great job of keeping you abreast of all the Lions news right there on our Facebook page. So, Shawnee J, give me your final thoughts for today's show. What do you think about the Lions OTAs?
Once again, I'm buying into the Lions. I think the teams do the same thing. First, they said they weren't going to show up, but 82 out of 90 players show up. And once again, that shows that they're committed. They buy into Campbell, and they're not buying what the media is saying about this being a rebuild season. They want to win, and I don't blame them. I want them to win too. So I like it. I'm excited about this off season. Sometimes the off season is more exciting than the actual season, while things are going on. But I'm ready for football. We're still 4 months away, I know. But, this is better than this time a year ago when the virus was at its peak and there weren't, no OTAs to talk about,
Right. Definitely. For me, definitely for this show, I'm excited for the OTAs. I'm excited to see what the Lions are doing and how Dan Campbell and his staff are handling the OTAs. I think they're on the right path. You got to think about it like this. You have another 3 weeks to go for OTAs. You're going to have another set next week after the holiday weekend. Then you're going to have a week after that where you're going to be concentrating on the veterans. And then you're going to come back and there's going to be one for the rookies. Then you're going to have a summer break. And next thing you know, guess what? The league-wide training camps are going to start. 29 or 32 teams are going to start their training camps on 27 July. That's not too far. June is next week, brother. So it's right around the corner.
2 months. Yes, 2 months for the Lions training camp. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's get a grip. I mean, this coronavirus hasn't gone away yet. We still got to be careful. We're having with delays, we're outbreaks. That's why I say it's silly to expect 100% capacity in these stadiums holding 80,000, 100,000 people. That's silly to me. So just a second time, people will still be safe.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So, Shawnee J, tell the people how they can find you on social media, my brother.
Well, once again, I'm always on Facebook. That's the main thing I use. My name is Sean Jennings. You can find me there. The most handsome Sean Jennings on Facebook. I'm that guy. And you can send me a friend request. And I can also add you our group. I'll have mentioned up the Detroit Lions Truest fans group. And please check out our public Facebook page. The Die Hard Den Facebook page is public. You visit. Like I said, I keep it well informed. I entertain you. I educate you. Everything Lions and football. And leave us a comment. Leave us an email. We would love to see that too.
Yes, definitely look at doing that. But before we go ahead and close out the show, we got one more thing that we got to do for this show. and definitely have to do the comment of the show. Here is the member comment of the show for last show. Sorry about that, fella. We almost left you out, but Shawnee J just reminded me. Roy Bridges from our last show. Now, this comment is coming via Facebook. Now, this is his prediction for the record for next season. So, Shawnee J, thank you for doing that for me, reminding me that we had one more thing to do before we get out of here. And he says he sees the Lions at 8-9, splitting with the division, starting off slowly, but coming on strong down the stretch. He says progress in competitive football in December. Now, he also added this next statement. He says he'll take those wins, but he said if they had let him draft who they wanted him to draft, the Lions would make the playoffs this year. That's a bold statement by my man Roy Bridges, man.
Who he wanted? Who did he want?
He didn't say who he wanted, man. He just said if he was the GM, they'd be making the playoffs for this next upcoming season,
you can't
man.
just do that. You just stand that tells you want to draft.
Yeah.
Boo. Come on.
Yeah, he didn't leave that in the comment, but Roy Bridges, man, we appreciate you watching the podcast, watching the show, and leaving a comment, man. We really, really appreciate that. All right, you definitely can find me at Curtis Steele 14 at Instagram and Twitter. You can find the show at Die Hard Den Posse 1 on Twitter, or you can follow the Instagram page at die_hard_den_podcast. We really appreciate you guys checking out the show. And it's just really great to bring this content to you guys. And we're definitely excited to bring you more Lions coverage coming up this rest of this offseason and into training camp. So definitely we appreciate you. Go ahead and checking us out. So it's Thursday, man. We had a great time doing this show. When the show comes out on Friday, don't forget to tune in to the Detroit Lions on the Prowl Free for All Friday. If you couldn't catch it live at 11 a.m., go back and catch the replay. It's available anytime. You never know who's going to show up. And we are the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. Hey, as you go about your day, you know what you got to do, baby. Whatever you do in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For my man, Shawnee J, this is Curt Steele, and we are